have any kind of essential oils that you want to use, now's a good time to get those out. Maybe give them a little spray, rub them on your wrists or on the inside of your elbows. So we're going to start our practice today in child's pose. Now, it's been, so this whole week, I've been focusing on sleep, on my Instagram profile, sort of in my research. So I've been looking a lot at sleep and sort of creating rest. Now, at the moment, it's a bit of a strange time. Sort of, if we were doing this sort of 5-6 months ago, it would be dark, and it's actually quite strange doing this in the full daytime. But hopefully you're kind of in a space that feels cozy enough to still kind of create the sense of comfort. So today's class is very much going to be focused on creating sort of a sense of softening in the body, a sense of softening in the mind, and basically preparing ourselves for deep peace, both in our sleep but also in our daily lives. So the intention that I would like to set for the group tonight is to go slowly on yourself, to be very gentle, maybe to make your movements a little smaller than usual, just to take care and to nourish yourself sort of really, really well. Okay, some of us have had quite a hectic week. We're still working quite a lot. I think everyone is experiencing some sort of anxiety or tension at the moment. So let's be really, really gentle and really, really soothing with ourselves tonight. Okay, so in your in our first pose, in our child's pose, hopefully you have found yourself a couple of props to help you up. If you're not there yet, or even if you are, let's just tune into the body and check in what our body's doing. So what pose we have put our body in. So bringing the knees quite wide, so to the edge of your mat, bringing the toes together, and then you might want to put a nice big prop like your pillow or your bolster underneath you, and you press it up into your waist, into your groin, and then just slowly walk yourself over that pillow, and then just let your head drop onto the pillow and rest there. So depending on what prop you have or where you are, if you are touching the floor, then you might want to rest your forehead onto the mat. However, if you are over a pillow, you could start just by bringing your left ear onto the pillow, and then extending your hands and your arms away from you, so that your palms are pressed into the mat and your fingers gently stretched away from you. And being gentle once again, so extending the arms and perhaps having nice widespread hands, but at the same time not causing strain on the arms or the elbows or the shoulders. So checking in with your body, maybe trying with the arms extending back towards the feet, and just letting the shoulders fall towards the ground. Just checking in to see what feels best for your body tonight. You might find that bringing the elbows and the forearms onto the ground, helping prop you up a little bit, might be a bit more comfortable. So wherever you are, just feeling your spine start to open, start to lengthen. Feel the hips sink towards the heels. If your head is turned to the side, feeling a lengthening in the side of the neck. And as you settle into the physical posture, just honoring the time and the transition from one pose to the next. Just noticing what's happening in your body as you settle into this posture. And maybe after a little while, you might find stillness in your physical body. And then you might want to scan your body, perhaps starting with the contact points with the floor, noticing where you're grounded and stable, perhaps the hands, the elbows, the knees, the tops of the feet. Just pressing into the floor and letting the floor hold you. And perhaps if your head has been facing one way, you might want to turn it around so that it faces the other way. Stretching out the other side of the neck. And now bringing your attention to your breath. Notice where you feel your breath in your body. So in this particular pose, where do you feel your breath most vividly? Perhaps along your spine. Perhaps the sides of the ribs, moving with the breath. Perhaps you can feel it in your chest and your belly as it presses into the prop. And just following this movement as your breath moves in and out. Perhaps noticing the rhythm of the breath and the rhythm of the movement. Finding the beginning of the breath, following it all the way in, pausing at the end, and noticing how it does a little U-turn and becomes an out-breath again. And then following the out-breath all the way out. And then preparing the mind and body to move into the next pose. Lifting the chest, lifting the head, and coming onto all fours. So gently pressing into the knees and into the hands to lift you up. Perhaps moving away any props if you've had them close by. And as you come into all fours, just checking that your wrists are stacked underneath your shoulders, and your knees underneath your hips. And let's do a couple of cat-cows while we're here. So tucking your tailbone and arching your back up to the ceiling, pressing gently into the hands. Imagine you're pressing your chest up into the spine and letting your head drop down towards the ground. Coming into cat pose, gently arching and pushing the middle back and the top of the back up towards the ceiling. Nice deep breaths in and out, into the back of the body, opening up between the shoulder blades, opening the ribs. And then release the arch, and as you come back to neutral, carry on moving the belly down towards the ground. Lifting the hips, lifting the chest, and lifting the gaze up between the shoulders. Coming into a cow pose, finding stillness, and then following your deep breaths in and out. Opening the chest. Breathing deep into the belly, opening the front of the body. And then on your next exhale, moving back into cat pose. So inhale, and as you exhale, arch the back, tuck the tailbone in, drop the head between the arms. Gently letting your head hang, letting your head pull softly on your neck to lengthen your neck and your upper spine. All the the time, noticing the sensations in every moment. What do you feel now? And what do you feel in this moment? Reversing once more into cow, dropping the belly, lifting the hips up, gaze rises up in front of you. Once again, scanning through your body, perhaps observing or tuning in a little bit more to the places where you feel the sensations in particular right now. Perhaps the front of the belly, perhaps somewhere on the spine. And then coming back to neutral and walking your hands slightly forward, we're going to lower ourselves all the way down onto our belly. So just gently and softly find your way onto your belly in whatever way is comfortable for you. Moving slowly and noticing the changing sensations as you move from one posture to the other. Once you're on your belly, taking your right leg and bending your right knee out to the side. So bringing your knee up close towards your hip. And then lining your knee and your ankle with one another. So you're kind of forming like a right angle with your knee here. You can have a gentle light flex in the foot. So move your knee to wherever is comfortable for you. So if you can get it up in line with your hip, that's great. If it's more comfortable for you to stay quite low down, then that's great as well. So finding and testing, trying, experimenting, and seeing what feels right for you. So once you've found your place, then just allow the front of the body to melt onto your mat. You might find that the front right hip doesn't come all the way down to the floor, and that's perfectly fine. So if you want to put a pillow, if you want to put your towel or a prop underneath your hip to support it, you are more than welcome to do that. Once you have your leg in position, lowering your chest all the way to the ground, stretching your arms out at shoulder height, and then bringing a right angle into those as well. So you kind of form what we call cactus arms. So your elbows are bent at 90 degrees, fingers pointing away from you, and then settle your left ear onto the floor. So you've got your right leg out to the side, and your gaze over to the right hand side. And as you're in this pose, letting your whole body melt into the floor. So just gently inviting the front of the hips to open up. Inviting the pelvis to soften and sink closer to the mat. Feeling a gentle pressure on the front of the body, like a little bit of a massage for the internal organs. Feeling the front of the chest being gently opened up as you open up the arms. And once you've found the physical stillness that you need, made all your adjustments, checking in with the breath. Where do you feel the breath right now in this practice, in this pose? Focusing the breath in and out of the nose. Allowing for a gentle stream of air to move in through the nose on the inhale, like a breeze traveling in through the nose, down the throat, into the chest and filling up the belly. And on the exhale, once again, like a gentle breeze, slowly, slowly let that air out, a little stream of air. So not trying to force or control the breath too much, but rather in kind of a friendly, inviting way, trying out a new way of breathing. Or maybe just reminding the breath when we get caught up in our everyday lives, in our busyness and our problems. And our breath becomes short and sharp. So it's good to slow down and to give our body and our breath time to slow down too. So every Thursday evening, when you make your way here to the mat, you give yourself an hour of time and an hour of permission to your body and your mind to just relax and to just be exactly as it is right now. And then bringing your awareness to your body as you get ready to transition and to do the same position but on the other side. So slowly moving your knee away from your hips, maybe walking your leg, your right leg, to lie next to your left leg, and then repeating the motion but doing it on, or repeating the leg position but on the opposite side. So taking your left knee and bending it up towards your left hip. Remember to only come up as far as is comfortable for you, and creating a sort of an L-shaped bend or a 90-degree bend in your knee, if that's comfortable. And then allowing your foot to just flex gently. And then releasing any kind of force or striving, any kind of expectations. So putting our bodies into these positions, just giving them something to play with and then seeing what it says back to us. This time bringing the right ear to the ground, so the gaze is over to the left hand side. And the arms are once again in the cactus pose. Hands resting gently, palm down on the floor. This time allowing a little bit more pressure on the right hand side, whereas previously we had it on the left hand side. And with this pressure, creating a little bit of a massage and a soothing kind of pressure on the internal organs, on the body, on the touch receptors. All of these contributing to a calmer state of the body, improving circulation, and deepening the breath. And in this time of physical stillness, focusing the attention once again on the breath. And using your breath to help to train your attention and your focus. So by focusing on the breath, not only do we allow a natural lengthening of the breath, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our calming, sort of restful state. It also exercises our diaphragm, so pressing on the front of our bodies like this stimulates the diaphragm to be a little bit more active because it has to work a little harder. And when our diaphragm works harder, it means that we have more, it creates more space in our body, in our chest cavity, And more space means more space for air, means bigger breaths. So as we activate and tickle our diaphragm, we get it fit, sort of breathing fit. And these are the kinds of, and what we practice on our mat, we take into our everyday life. So that's, so the more often that you practice your yoga, the more often you practice your deep breathing, the easier it is to take it into your everyday life with you. And then bringing your awareness back to your body, getting ready to transition. Slowly move that left leg back down so that it is in line with your right leg. And then choosing a side, roll over onto your side and come onto your back. So again, slowly move. So just notice if you've already jumped in your mind onto your back. And if it is, see if you can bring it back to exactly where you are right now in your physical practice. And just following the movements and the sensation of this physical practice. So coming onto your back, you might want to bring a prop. So you might want to bring a pillow or your towel, perhaps something to place underneath your lower back to give your lower back a little bit of support. So I will use my towel here just to demonstrate. So if you are using a prop, a blanket or a pillow, you can just place it underneath your lower back. So just at the top of your buttocks. And then bend your legs and bring your knees into your chest. Maybe giving a gentle squeeze with your hands. So hands are curled around the knees. Or perhaps just holding onto the backs of the thighs. Letting your heels hang towards the floor. Stretching out the front of the quads, stretching out the front of the shins. Lengthening the lower spine by opening it up. So as we gently pull on our knees, we also create this equivalent curve, sort of a gentle lengthening of our lower back, of our glutes. Inviting a little bit of softening in the lower back. And also a bit of softening in the belly, especially the lower belly. So just the front equivalent of the lower back. Taking a moment to notice how it feels to breathe in this pose. So how does it feel to breathe with the belly free of obstruction now? So you might find that it's actually a little bit easier to breathe. That perhaps it feels more spacious. And this is the benefit of practicing breathing on the belly. And that when you free the belly again, it creates a sense of spaciousness. We're going to move into a spinal twist. So bringing awareness to your body, to where it is right now, what position it is right now. Preparing to let the knees fall over to the left-hand side. So slowly rolling the knees over. And gently noticing the changing sensations as your knees come over to the side. Again, you can choose where you keep your knees, so you might have them close to your chest, or you might have them further away from you. You could also bring a prop, a pillow, a block between your knees, so just tuning into what feels comfortable for you. Keeping your shoulders on the floor, or as close to the floor as possible. So perhaps pulling that left shoulder out a little bit. And allowing for both scapula, both shoulder blades to make their way down towards the floor. And then stretching the arms out at your side, opening the front of the chest, opening the front of the shoulders, opening the armpits. You can bring the backs of the hands onto the floor. And the gaze can either be towards the left hand, up towards the ceiling, or towards the right hand. You might even want to just tilt the head from side to side. Maybe just creating a gentle twisting motion in the neck. And as you do this, tune into the neck, so focus into the neck, and see if you can feel which of the three positions does your body need most now. So you might find that actually twisting or sort of facing the opposite direction to your knees gives you a really, really welcome and gentle stretch in the neck. And if that's the case, then just shifting your gaze over to the opposite hand. You might find your neck is maybe too tense and you want to keep your gaze upwards. So one of the most beautiful things about a Yin Yoga practice is that we are getting to know our bodies really, really well. So we're learning about our bodies. We are, by putting them into different positions, we then create a situation, a new situation for our body. And when it's a new situation, it responds to that situation. And if we are watching and listening closely enough, then we learn how our bodies respond. Now, why is this helpful? You might ask, which is a very good question. It is helpful because if you can start to notice if you're feeling anxious or stressed or angry because you've just tuned into the fact that you've got a knot in your stomach, or your shoulders are tense or hunched, or perhaps your forehead is scrunched up and your jaw is tight. If you can tune into these physical signals, then you can tune in, or it's like clues that they give you about your emotional and mental state. So our physical body responds to the external environment, but it also responds to our internal environment. So it responds to how we're feeling emotionally and mentally. So sometimes it's easier to pick up on the clues and the signals our bodies are giving us rather than on our internal clues. If you have a prop between your knees, removing it out from between your legs and bringing your awareness to your body, preparing to change over to the other side. So slowly lifting your knees back up to center and then letting them drop over to the right hand side. And once again, if you want your prop, placing your prop between your knees and then just letting your knees sink towards one another, sink towards the floor. Bringing your arms wide at your shoulders. Maybe shifting that right shoulder a little bit more to the right. So bringing a bit more of a twist into the upper body. And once again, just choosing where you place your gaze. So if you had your gaze on the opposite side of your legs in the previous version, then I would recommend that in this pose, you face the opposite way again. But remember, always being very gentle with yourself. Finding quiet and stillness in a physical pose. And then finding the breath in the body. Perhaps noticing how as you breathe in, the side of the body opens and stretches. And as you breathe out, maybe you feel a slight deepening of the spine. And throughout the practice, if you find that your mind wanders off and it
goes backwards into the past, thinking of today's events or last week's events. Or if you find that perhaps it's jumped ahead and it's planning, thinking about dinner, thinking about tomorrow, thinking about next week. Just invite your mind back, bring your focus back, either onto your breath or onto your body, without judgment, without criticism, just noticing and realizing that that's what minds do. Minds wander. They're like curious puppies. They find something fun to play with or chew. They drift off and go do that. And just like with a puppy, gently but firmly bring it back to right where you are. And then if you have a prop between your knees, just removing the prop. Once again, bringing awareness to your body, preparing to move. You're going to slowly lift our knees back up to center. Maybe giving them another squeeze by pressing your hands onto your knees and squeezing them into your chest. And then releasing them. You can release the feet onto the floor. Let the knees fall together and bring the feet quite wide as your mat. And then just let them windscreen wiper from side to side. So you just let your knees fall over to the right and then over to the left. Just a couple of times. And then bringing them to stillness. If you still have any props underneath your body, underneath your back, just removing them out of the way. We're going to move into Shavasana pose because I'm going to start the Yoga Nidra practice with you. So for this practice, I invite you to come into Shavasana. So your feet and your legs are stretched away from you. Feet fall out to the side. Hands are on the floor or arms are along the floor alongside your body. You might want to bring your hands out a little bit just to create a bit of softness in the shoulders and openness in the chest. Maybe shuffle the shoulder blades closer to one another. We're going to be here for a little while, so if you worry that you're going to get warm or if you want to get really comfy, maybe place a pillow underneath your head, maybe get a blanket and drape it over you. Perhaps dim the lights a little bit if you wish. So I'm going to stay in a sitting position as I lead you and guide you through the Yoga Nidra. When you're ready, once you're lying down and comfortable, softly letting the body melt into the mat, maybe having placed something soft under your head. And bringing your eyes closed if it's comfortable for you, keeping them closed as long as is possible throughout the practice. So just to introduce you to what we're going to be doing, a Yoga Nidra is a very, very calming, guided, trance-like meditation. So I will be guiding you through some visualizations, I will be guiding you through part of the body scan, and all you need to do is just gently follow my words. Again, as always, my guidance is just guidance. So if at any point you feel uncomfortable or you need to open your eyes or maybe move your body a little bit, then do so. So always listening to the wisdom of your body and your heart first. So some of the benefits of the Yoga Nidra are that you bring your senses to the body and the breath, as we do in our other Yin practices. And this triggers the relaxation response, so that parasympathetic nervous system activation. It balances the two nervous systems, the one that that activates fight or flight, and the one that activates a calm system. So it balances those two out, as well as balancing the left and the right side of the brain. So in this process of switching into a more relaxed state, your brain shifts from a beta state. So beta is an awakened state with lots of activity.
to an alpha state, which is a more relaxed state. So the alpha and beta refer to the brain waves, which represent or which are the signals of activity in the brain. So for example, you might find that people with anxiety or who are in an anxious state typically show less alpha activity, which is our calm one. And so something like Yoga Nidra can be really helpful with that anxiety, as it helps to increase the alpha waves or put us into a state where there are more alpha waves. Following this, you have a state of theta waves and deep alpha waves, which follow this initial alpha stage. And this is usually these would usually show up in your REM state, so in your deep sleep. This is the kind of deep sleep where creativity, dreams, emotional process, and deep rest happen. So Yoga Nidra cannot replace sleep, but it is very, very nourishing and deeply restful. So we're going to move into the guidance for the Yoga Nidra now. So again, just following the guidance and doing what you can and what feels right for you. So making yourself as comfortable as possible. Keep your feet apart, letting them flop sideways. Making any last adjustments of your blankets, your clothes, your position, so that you can practice Yoga Nidra without moving and with no physical discomfort. Keeping your eyes closed as much as is comfortable. The practice of Yoga Nidra is the act of hearing and the act of feeling. These are the only important factors. In Yoga Nidra, you function on a deeper level of awareness and listening. Say to yourself mentally, I will not sleep. I shall only listen to the voice. Repeat to yourself, I will not sleep. Give yourself some time to be calm and steady. Take a deep breath, and as you breathe in, feel calmness spreading throughout the body. As you breathe out, say to yourself mentally, I am safe, I am relaxed. Become aware of sounds in the distance, the most distant sound that you can hear. Move your attention from sound to sound, without attempting to label or judge or hold on to them. Gradually bring your attention to closer sounds, so maybe sounds inside the building, inside your home, maybe to inside the room. And now that you've brought yourself inside the room, without opening your eyes, visualize the four walls, the ceiling, the floor, your body lying on the floor. See your body lying on the floor. Become aware of the existence of your physical body lying on the floor. Total awareness of your body lying in perfect stillness. Your body is lying on the floor. Develop your awareness of all the physical meeting points between your body and the floor. Become aware of the natural breath. Become aware of the deep, natural, spontaneous breath with a gentle awareness. Keep on listening to me and know that you are safe and breathing. The practice of Yoga Nidra begins now. Say mentally to yourself, I am going to practice Yoga Nidra. I will not sleep. I am going to practice Yoga Nidra. This is the time to make your intention. A simple intention. Perhaps what do you want most in your heart of hearts? Mentally and with feeling and awareness, repeat your intention 3 times. We'll now scan through the body. Please repeat mentally the name of each part after me and simultaneously become aware of that part. The practice will begin on the right hand, starting by bringing your attention to the right hand thumb second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, waist, hip, right thigh, knee, calf muscle, ankle, heel, sole, top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Moving over to the left hand side. Left hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, lower arm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, waist, hip, left thigh, knee, calf muscle, ankle, heel, sole, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Up to the right shoulder, then left shoulder, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, right buttock, left buttock, the spine, the whole of the back together, top of the head, forehead, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, the eyebrow center, right eyelid, left eyelid, right eye, left eye, right ear, left ear, right cheek, left cheek, nose, tip of the nose, right nostril, left nostril, upper lip, lower lip, chin, jaw, throat, right collarbone, left collarbone, right chest, left chest, middle of the chest, belly, abdomen, lower abdomen, the whole of the right leg, the whole of the left leg, both legs together, the whole of the right arm, the whole of the left arm, both arms together, the whole of the back, the whole of the front, whole of the head, together, legs, arm, back, front, head, together, the whole of the body together, the whole of the body together. Broaden your awareness to take in the whole body and become aware of the space occupied by the body. Become aware of the body and the space that your body takes up, body and space. Become aware of the whole floor and the body in relation to the floor. Become aware of the meeting points of the body and the floor. There are very subtle physical points between body and floor. Feel the meeting points between the back of your head and the floor, shoulder blades and the floor, elbows and the floor, the back of the hands and the floor, the buttocks and the floor, the calves and the floor, the heels and the floor. Awareness of all the meeting points between the body and the floor, the sensation of all points simultaneously and evenly. Go on feeling these points clearly and distinctly. Do not sleep. Continue. Switch your attention to the eyelids. Feel the narrow line of meeting between the upper and the lower eyelids. Feel the sharp point where they meet. Intensify your awareness between the eyelids. And in the lips, center your attention on the line between the lips, the space between the lips. From the lips, we go to the breath. Draw your attention to the natural ingoing and outgoing breath. Feel the breath moving along the passage between the navel and the throat. On inhalation, it rises from the navel to the throat, and on exhalation, it descends from the throat to the navel. Be completely aware of the breath moving, navel to throat, throat to navel. Do not try to force the breath, just gentle awareness. Maintain your awareness and at the same time start counting your breaths backwards as follows. I am breathing in 20. I am breathing out 20. I am breathing in, 19. I am breathing out, 19. I am breathing in, 18. I am breathing out, 18. Continue to count to yourself mentally as you follow the rise and the fall of your breath, from navel to throat and back again. Continue to count to yourself as you breathe in and out. Breathing at your own pace, and breathing as slow and relaxed. Continuing wherever you are in your number sequence, continue counting in and out. And then wherever you are in your number sequence, letting it go, bringing your awareness to sensations in the body. Awaken the feeling of heaviness in the body, the feeling of heaviness. Become aware of heaviness in every single part of the body. You are feeling so heavy that you are sinking into the floor. Awareness of heaviness. Heaviness in the right leg, in the left leg, in the back, in the belly, in the shoulders, in the right arm, in the left arm, in the head. Now awaken the feeling of lightness. Awaken the feeling of lightness. A sensation of lightness and weightlessness in all parts of the body. Your body feels so light that it seems to be floating away from the floor. Awakeness or awareness of lightness in the right leg. Lightness in the left leg. Lightness in the hips. Lightness in the back and the belly. Lightness in the shoulders. Lightness in the right arm, lightness in the left arm, lightness in the head. Now moving on to the sensation of cold. Awaken the experience of cold in the body. Imagine you're walking on a cold floor in winter. Your feet feel very cold. You feel cold all over. Awareness of coldness in the leg, in the legs, and the arms, and the hands, and the shoulders. Now awaken the sensation of heat. Awaken the experience of heat in the body. The whole body is hot. The whole body is hot. You feel hot all over. Remember the feeling of heat in summer, when you're out in the sun with no shade. Heat all over the body. Heat all over the body. Awareness of heat. Now recollect the feeling of pleasure. Any kind of pleasure, physical or mental. Remember this feeling and relive it. Make it vivid. Feel it in the body. Awaken the feeling of pleasure. Check that you are awake. Are you drowsy or sleepy? Make sure that you are not sleeping. Say to yourself, I am awake. Now focus your mind on the space in front of your closed eyes, keeping your eyes closed, the dark space in front of your closed eyes, that we might call the third eye. Just bring your attention and observe the darkness. Let go of any other sensations and focus all your attention into this dark space in front of your closed eyes. Now letting go of the darkness, imagine yourself in a park in the early morning. The sun has not risen and the park is deserted except for yourself. It is a beautiful park, calm and peaceful, walking across the springy grass. Listen to the birds whistle and call as they welcome in the new day. There are gardens of flowers, roses, yellow, pink, red, purple. Smell their fragrance. and see the early morning dewdrops on their petals. Nearby the rose garden is a fish pond. Goldfish swim in and out amongst the water lilies. See their graceful movements. You walk between the trees, beautiful trees, bare trees and trees with leaves, wide spreading trees and tall stately trees. There is a clearing between the trees. In the clearing, there is a small temple with an aura of light around it. Go to the door. It is cool and dim inside. Inside on the walls, there are pictures of great saints. You sit down on the floor, close your eyes and become still. A sense of deep peace and harmony envelops you as the sounds outside fade into the distance. Continue your awareness of meditation inside the temple. As you sit there, you feel peace and harmony spread through your whole body. Letting that go, bring your awareness back to the dark space you see in the front of your closed eyes. You could even imagine the space in front of the forehead. So if you want to explore it a little, you can shift your gaze slightly upwards, but without straining your eyes or your face. Watch the darkness that you see before you very carefully, with detachment. Do not become the darkness, do not become involved. Rest your mind in this warm and friendly darkness. If any phenomena manifests, for example color or patterns, simply take note of these, let them go, and continue with your open awareness. If thoughts occur, let them come and go, but continue watching the dark space. Continue with a detached awareness, calm and peaceful. Now remember your intention from the start. Repeat the same intention you made at the beginning of the practice, in the same words, with the same attitude. Repeat your intention in your mind now 3 times clearly, with feeling, conviction, and emphasis. Become aware of your breathing. Become aware of the natural breathing. Aware of breathing and aware of relaxation. Develop awareness of your physical existence. Become aware of your arms and your legs and your body lying stretched out on the floor. Become aware of meeting points between your body and the floor. Develop awareness of the room, walls, ceiling, noises in the room and noises outside. Slowly take your mind out of your body, completely external. Lie quietly with your eyes closed and your attention slowly, slowly spreading out around you. When you are ready, start moving your body and stretching yourself, taking your time and taking great care to look after your body. There is no hurry. When you are sure that you are wide awake, sit up slowly and open your eyes. The practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete. So when you are ready, moving into an upright seated position, perhaps with a prop underneath your hips, feeling your body sinking heavy into your mat or into the floor, feeling the solid floor underneath your body, and allow the floor to hold you. Allow the contact of your feet or your body with the solid floor to be a source of grounding for you. An anchor when you feel emotionally turbulent or disconnected or heartbroken or overexcited. If at any point during the day, during your practice, you need to come back, reconnect with your mind and body, focus your attention, just find your way back to the floor through your feet, through your legs, or even through your whole body, lying down flat on the floor. I hope that you have found some nourishment, some softness and some gentleness in tonight's practice. Thank you once again for sharing your time and your practice with me. Once again, if you would just like to leave quietly and maintain or keep this sense of peace in your heart and in your body, bringing your hands together at your chest, taking a moment to notice the sense of calm and peace in your body and in your mind. And if you have a little bit spare, maybe sending it out into the world, maybe even visualizing someone who might need it and sending it directly to them. I hope you have a beautiful evening. If you would like to stay back for a couple of minutes and let me know what that was like for you. I'm sure it was something a bit different, something a bit new. So if you would like to let me know what that was like, I would welcome the feedback. Namaste.